If you want to understand what's happening at the cutting edge of the hottest trends out there, sometimes you need to go off the tape and check in with privately held companies that are changing the game. Take Munchery, an on-demand meal delivery service that employs gourmet cooks from top local restaurants to make healthy, locally sourced, relatively inexpensive meals that they deliver right to your door. Then you heat them up for 10 minutes and get eaten. Munchery's taking the on-demand economy to the next level by disrupting traditional grocery and takeout industries. Companies currently only in Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle, but they have plans to expand across the country. And after their latest round of funding, where they raised $85 million like that, they got the cash to do it. The growth here, frankly, is astonishing. Within 2 years of opening in San Francisco, Munchery has become half the size of Chipotle in the San Francisco area, where it's quite popular, by the way. In their second week in Los Angeles, the company's business grew by 40% week over week, which is almost unheard of in the bricks and mortar restaurant industry. And as Munchery grows, the larger scale means they can lower prices on their meals to make them more attractive to a broader audience. I think this is a really intriguing story. Earlier this week, we got a better read at just how compelling Munchery is with its co-founder and CEO, Tree Tran. Take a look. Tree, your company is so disruptive in so many different ways. Why don't you tell us if this even could have existed 3-4 years ago and what you're doing? Cost lower, instant, natural, and organic, because it's really resonating in places as different from San Francisco and New York.
Absolutely. By the way, thank you, Jim, for having me here. 3 or 4 years ago, the mobile technology isn't quite there. I mean, yes, the introduction of the iPhone in the early days, but really, the whole mobile market has really enabled us to reach a lot of customers very conveniently. A lot of people are on the go. They don't think about food until last minute. And really, I mean, they feel like, hey, otherwise they have to go to a local restaurant or cooking at home, which obviously takes a lot of time. People are really busy nowadays. So that really, really helped us. And then the way that our business model runs is very different than a traditional restaurant. We call restaurants subscale cooking. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Subscale cooking. Right?
No,
basically,
my place is subscale cooking. Sorry.
Basically, in a restaurant, you know, two customers walk in, they cook two orders at a time. We cook hundreds of pieces of, let's say, salmon at a time using these oven technology that existed for years, except it's never useful in a restaurant environment. Our motto is we cook the food, we chill the food down, we bring the food to the customer in a chill format. There's simple instruction for them to put in the oven or the microwave, and they get it, you know, prepped and done exactly the way the chef intended it to be.
Well, Tree, is there some gigantic kitchen that you're working out of in different boroughs of New York?
We do have one pretty large-scale kitchen in New York today, and we're building another one. But yeah, the key is we only need 1 or 2 of these to cover the whole Manhattan, and now we launch in Brooklyn and reaching into Queens. Unlike a restaurant model or even a Chipotle or a Shake Shack or whatever, they have to have a store in every neighborhood to reach customers. We deliver the food. So our limit is not the number of seats in the restaurant, but the city population itself.
Well, let's talk about city populations and how you have expanded. How quickly are you growing Los Angeles, San Francisco?
Yeah, so San Francisco, even in our existing market, is growing double-digit month over month. But then for
month over month.
Yeah, and then for a new market like New York and LA that we launched about a month ago, these cities are growing 25 to 40% week over week. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I mean, like, we really want to maintain quality. So yes, it's growing really fast, but our priority has always been quality first. If the quality is not there, we're going to stop the growth.
And you initially had much higher price point, and you've been able to lower, and it looks like that can continue with your volume.
Exactly. We enjoy the benefit of buying power when we, you know, serve more and more meals. And then our motto, like I said, we have one kitchen, we cook all day long. We don't have real estate costs that a restaurant typically would have. You have to have a corner store when you have a fancy restaurant. We don't need any of that.
The rents are high.
Yeah, our kitchen are way out on the side of the city. We don't need to be in the center of things.
One last question. Munchery, how do people discover a Munchery? When I heard about it, and I'm certainly not the key demographic I might end up being, it's like, Munchery, what the heck is that? You have no advertising that I know of. I mean, what is it? How did people know to download? How do people know to find you?
Look, it's the classic situation, word of mouth. People like it.
Jeez.
More than half of our customer and like a huge percentage of them are just telling their friends and neighbors about it. And that's what we like, because that's the most genuine form of people being satisfied with our product and service, because anything else is just going to be short-lived.
Tree, I can't resist one last question. You really are the American dream of today, aren't you?
Thank you very much for that. I mean, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of grit and determination.
But you got here when you were 11 years old, and then just fill me, what was the trajectory of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I was here with my older brother and my grandmother. My parents were left behind. I actually came off one of the refugee boats that you might have read about in the 70s and 80s off of Vietnam. Yeah, went on a long trip to Indonesia. After a few months on refugee camp, we got sponsored by my aunt and uncle who live in San Jose, California, and lived with them for a few years. Went to half of middle school, high school, essentially zero English. ESL, English Second Language, level 1 at everything. And worked really hard, and luckily got into MIT for college.
Well, I think the work really shows you, the work really hard, do what you want to do, love, is what drives this man. And I think this company's been very successful. That's Tri Tran. He's the co-founder and CEO of Munchery. Great to meet you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.